Well, anyway, so we get out of the tunnel. We're fine. I'm like feeling pretty good. And we still have quite a bit of driving. We get on some solid road. It starts to get dark.
Oh.
We get stopped by the Taliban. Now, usually when you get stopped by the Taliban, it's fine. Like during the day, they just look around. They don't suspect that anybody in the car is a foreigner. They just let you keep going. If they find out you're a foreigner, they don't believe it at first. Then they find...
Why? Because not a lot are in that region?
There's never a foreigner, ever.
And so did your guide be like, hey, just be quiet. I'm going to do the talking?
Yeah.
But if they asked him straight up, these guys foreigners, he'd be like, yes.
Yeah, he'd be like, they're American. And they'd be like, no way. And he'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, show the passport. And then he'd show the passport. And dude, I swear to God, a lot of times there'd be like a 16-year-old kid. And they look at the passport and they're just like... Like they're so happy. They can't believe there's an American. And they're like, oh, they think that means that they're like doing a good job. So then they're like, we got to take a selfie. So then you take a selfie with them. And then they're like, anything you need, let us know. Like they're so excited.
But also like, how am I going to call in that favor?
Oh yeah, dude. You don't want to call
what's
that.
your name?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Let you know I need a good chicken spot in fucking this next town.
Yeah, exactly. So that's usually just what would happen. So it ended up being fine, and it wasn't even that like scary.
They were happy to see you. You were American. They were
So
excited
happy.
that it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Once they like rule out that you're not a soldier, which is ridiculous that they even need to do that. But the fact that you go through that every time is not the best, to be honest. You're just sort of like, hopefully this will be fine, like it always has been. We get stopped at night at this one particular.
Yeah. Was there any
checkpoint.
worry of like, well, an American killed my dad, and I've always wanted to meet one of you motherfuckers?
You want to know why? No, because they are able to be like, oh, you didn't literally kill my dad. You're just some random guy.
We can't do that.
Which I know. I've always been impressed by that. That's typically what I've gotten traveling in these sort of places.
And Vietnam was like that about America, like hate America. Like, no, they hate China. Like China helped them then, but now they're like trying to encroach.
Right.
No American is bothering them currently.
Right.
Wow.
I appreciate the pragmatism there. So anyway, we get stopped. They make us get out of the car, which is normal. But then they're like, sit on the side of the road with us and have dinner. And we're like, okay, we hadn't really had to do that.
You can't say no.
No, you can't say no. And dude, 6 or 7 guys, so heavily armed. I was too afraid to film this part, but I made a cartoon that's like kind of long, so I'm not going to show it to you here, but I'll send it to you later if you're interested. Okay. But then they had a giant container, a Gatorade container full of beans. That said Gatorade on it, like
full of beans.
Yes, the one you like pour on the coach. Like, and then they're like, sorry, we only have beans. And I was like, it's fine, dude. Like, all good. And they're feeding us beans. And then we're talking, blah, blah, blah. They're asking us all the same questions. They're like, what do you think about the Taliban? And I have to lie. You know what I mean? I'm like, I think they're great. Like, it's just insane. And then they're like, wow, that's so cool. Then they're like, you need to meet the commander. And we're like, okay, great. Like, where is he? They're like, he's like over there.
This is nighttime. So this not happen during the day?
Pitch dark. Dude.
Anyway, go ahead.
No. So something like this wouldn't happen during the day.
Yeah.
They kind of hang around, bro, almost like a gang. You know how like a gang will like hang out at night? They just sit there and don't do anything
stoop talk. Until
there's gang activity to be had. This is sort of how they operate too. And they are not a gang, by the way. They basically are a gang.
Whoa.
So anyway, so we're sitting there, and then they're like, you have to go meet the commander. The commander is not close. So they send their guy with us in our car, and they follow us, and we drive to the commander. This is an hour drive out of the way. It's nighttime already. So and this guy has a fucking gun. So this sucks. This whole thing is scary already, right? We get out of the car. We're at this like compound, Taliban compound. And we walk in, the commander, oh, welcome, blah, blah, blah. He has his deputy who speaks English, who's super nice. This guy's sort of nice, but he's sort of being like the alpha dog. You have no choice but sit there, listen to him. The guide is showing him videos of my stand-up.
Really?
He's like, look, he's a comedian. The guy has no idea what he's looking at. He's like, oh.
English? Not really?
That guy didn't speak English, just the deputy.
Wow.
So we're sitting there for a long time, and eventually the dude who searched us in the parking lot comes in with my suitcase, throws it on the ground, and is like, we're going to search you. And I was like, oh, I thought we were friends. He's like, we are. That's why you're going to search yourself.
That's why what?
That's why you're going to search yourself. So, by the way, and I know like people listening to this story are probably like, good, this is what you get. Like, fair. I didn't want this to happen. I wasn't searching for this sort of thing. This is not a thing.
Oh, yeah. It's like when they said like some like real celebrity, they're like, that's what you get. You get like, you're trying to break up with your wife and some waiter is going to come for your picture. Like, that's not what they wanted.
Right. This is not what I intended. So I'm showing them every single thing in my bag. So I'm like, this is a sock. This is underwear. Like literally. Then, dude, I go in my toiletry bag. I'm like, these are Tums. The commander's like, what's that? I'm like, like indigestion. The guide can't translate the word indigestion. So I'm like, like I'm doing.
They don't have that.
And he's like, oh. So I'm like, I give him Tums and he eats them. He's like, oh, these are, I'm like, they're pretty good, right, dude? Like Tums smoothies, the good shit. He's eating them. He's loving it. So they don't find anything. We go in the parking lot and we're just standing in the dark in the driveway, which at this point I'm like, this is closer to some of the scenarios that are really not that fun to think about
That you had heard
than
about.
I would like to be.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm a few, even if I'm 10 steps away, I'd rather be 100 steps away. I'm fine probably right now, but like this is not fun.
But also, like, at this point, you're not really in control.
Yes,
They're in
and the
control.
guide isn't either,
Right.
which was scary.
They're in control.
The guide did not want this to be happening. And he was acting like it was fine. And like after we left, he was like, I'm so sorry. And like he wasn't giving off that vibe while we were there, which made it even scarier. I was like, oh, fuck. Like you had no control over the situation.
So we went to Canada. We were doing a bus tour, and our last stop was Toronto. And we were like, hey, let's Clorox everything. Let's do whatever. Let's make sure the drugs are gone, even the weed, but definitely the coke. Like,
Right.
definitely. And then they're like, the bus driver's like, they should just generally like just kind of take a look at our passports and leave. They might step on, but that's it. And then this time they're like, oh, they're kind of going through the bus. They're asking us to open it up. And the bus driver's like, this usually doesn't happen. He's like, you guys got rid of everything, right? And I was like, yeah. And then Colin was like, I mean, I put it on my bed.
I put it under the pillow.
And like, no, Colin, what the fuck, man? Like, it should be fine. Like, what are you doing? And so then it's like, at that point, it's nothing like this. It's out of control, and we just would be refused entry.
And you hear this story about like a tour bus all the time.
All the time, yeah.
The amount of people who get taken down because of their tour bus.
Right.
It's a high number. So you're like, fuck. But yeah, related.
Oh my God, out of your control.
Out of my control. Now
But also, there's no chance of us getting lined up and shot.
Right.
Before it's like, whoa, no, wait, we can talk. It's like, no, we're taking care of it now.
Yes. So.
Damn.
And in my head, I'm like, okay, I know that that's not happening now. But you always sort of worry about the chain of command there because there is a chance that you run into a guy who like didn't get the memo yet.
Or you look the wrong guy in the eye. You're like, why did you?
Bro.
I don't know the customs.
You don't know what's up. This is only a year after they had taken over. So there's a chance that the messaging had not gotten there, bro. This is like a very traditional place. Like you wouldn't like, it's not shocking to think that a guy might not get the memo for a while. Whoa. So you're kind of like, this kind of sucks. And these guys, picture the scariest Taliban guy you can picture. This is who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Most of them are being nice, whatever. But now we're in the driveway. In the house, it was nice. We're drinking tea, but there's like the walls. Imagine this room, but just the walls lined with giant guns, bro. Including like the gun from Heat, the like Val Kilmer double handle, like artillery, bro. Crazy.
Those American weapons?
I'm not totally sure.
Yeah,
I think it was a combo. There's probably Kalashnikovs. There's probably a combo of everything. And then they finally find an envelope of money, and I'm like, oh, this is like what was happening. So I tried to be clever. I spread my money out just in case so that they couldn't take it all, but that ended up working against me because the envelope that was in my iPad, they don't know about an iPad. So they didn't know to open the case. So they go, okay, I'm like, this is an iPad. They're like, all right. They never would have found that. They end up finding the envelope that has the most money in it too.
Oh, fuck.
And you need a lot of money when you visit Afghanistan. You can't take money out of the bank, obviously, and they only exchange new issue hundreds. And if they aren't perfectly crisp, you get a worse exchange rate.
Wow.
Which is interesting, right?
They do that in a lot of places.
Yeah, crazy.
Sometimes they just go, no. You're like, what do you mean,
Yeah,
no?
what
You're
the
not
fuck are you
taking it?
talking about?
It's a
Yeah.
20. Like,
Nope, sorry.
Good luck with that.
So anyway, they find the money, they count all of it, and the guy has his boy record him counting it. And then when he's done counting it, he hands it back to me, turns off the camera. He's like, I just didn't want you to be able to tell anybody that I took money from you. I'm like, okay, that's nice, I guess.
Wait. I didn't want you to tell anyone that I took money from you.
I didn't want
so
you
he could be like,
to be able to.
here's your money back.
Yep.
Oh, but he's about to steal it.
Well, counts it all, hands it back to me, and goes, I don't want you to be able to tell anybody we took money from you. Then he goes, but what about a donation?
However, I am taking money
I'm
from
like,
you.
very clever. So then I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like all this money's about to be gone.
Shakedown. Yeah.
Shakedown.
Are you thinking
sucked.
like, how much can I keep?
I'm thinking he's taking it all.
Yeah.
And
you're not in control.
the school plan had just sort of popped up earlier that day. So a lot of this money was supposed to go to starting the school. Now they take the money, there's no school problem,
What?
right? So I'm like, fuck. Then, dude, this is the funniest part. He goes, I'm like, how much does he want? It was $5,000. He goes,
$5,000?
$5,000.
Well, that's going to be a life changer for him.
He goes, $100. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, just 100, just 100. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, yeah, there you go. And then he goes, no, don't give it to me. Give it to him. And I give it to the guy. Everybody in the driveway is looking down at the ground because they're all embarrassed, bro.
Why?
Because you're not supposed to do this, which is why he didn't take it. He asked for it. And there's all these things you're not supposed to do. He's not supposed to be doing this.
And they all felt like, this is shitty.
They're like, this is shitty. If this guy's boss found out, he'd be in trouble. At the time, you can't process all this. You're just happy.
Also, for $100, you're not gonna be like, no, you don't get this.
Oh, dude.
Fine, call him. Call the general. Wake him up.
And I was told later that if I had said no, that it would have been fine. Which I'm like, bro.
But how are you gonna know?
What the fuck are you talking about? So anyway, I give the guy $100, no problem. He gives it to the other guy. The deputy guy apologizes to us. And they're like, we're so sorry. And nobody looked me in the eye, and then we left. It was the fucking weirdest thing in the world, dude. Next day, school gets started. I was joking. I'm like, in this hilarious plot twist, our secular progressive school in Afghanistan would not have been possible without the generosity of the Taliban.
You're like, however, we are short of $100, so there will be no pencils this year.
Correct.
Wait, that was the pencil
no
money.
wood for the wood stove this year.
Wow.
So, dude, after that, I was like, that sucked. I want to go home.
You were soured.
I was just like, that was just shitty. And the further away I get from it, like the less scary it sounds and feels
you're not
to
feeling
me.
it.
I don't know how it feels to everybody listening, but like it was super scary in the moment. And dude, we had to do that drive back. There's only one way to get back.
Where you been and where you going? This is Ari's travel show, yeah. We're gonna go on a journey today. See what there's to see in this big world. We're exploring different places, seeing all different types of faces. We're gonna talk about travel today.